In 1973, the New York Giants played their final football game in venerable Yankee Stadium. In the 17 years they played in the famed ballpark, the Giants fielded some great teams and some great players. They gave their fans 6 championships and many lasting memories. But that now belongs to the past. The farewell to Yankee Stadium signaled the end of one era and the beginning of another for the New York Giants.
Most of the city of New York has tried to tell us who we should hire as a football coach, but I don't think there was any question in my mind from the day that this was my responsibility that we had looked over the field very simply. We looked at what we felt we needed. Actually, never talked to anyone other than Bill. I never talked to anyone about this position, and we're very happy with the new football coach of the New York Giants, Bill Arnsparger.
Oh, thank you, Andy. And I just, first thing I want to say is I'm just pleased to be here. And there are a lot of things that we have to get started to work on. And the only thing that concerns me is that we get our football squad together and we know where we're going and we work toward getting the things done that are important.
It was a surprise to few at the crowded press conference in New York that newly named Director of Operations, Giant great Andy Robustelli, had chosen Bill Arnsparger. Arnsparger was the architect and mastermind of the Miami Dolphins' famed no-name defense that won 2 Super Bowls.
The Giants in the past are gone. What the Giants were doesn't affect what we are today. We're a football team that has to look for the future. Bill can build, and he did with Don Shula in Miami. They built a great football dynasty. He did it with marginal ball players. They call it the no-name defense. I hope he's going to have a name for our defense. But he's a very warm, genuine, honest, sincere, dedicated football man, and that's what we need in New York City. New York creates problems for people. It's so big, it's so exciting. There's so much money here, there's so much outside interest. The guy that comes here has to be a guy dedicated to football. Bill Arnsparger is dedicated to football and teaching, and he knows how to handle people. And the name of the game is still the relationship that develops between you and your player, and he's a people's kind of guy, and that's why we picked him.
So on January the 16th, 1974, flanked by President Wellington Mara and Andy Robustelli, the ball was tossed to Bill Arnsparger, and the new era of the Giants officially began.
I'm Dick Butkus. You know who I am and what I do. But I want to talk to you about something else besides football right now. I want to talk to you about the Army's new 2-year enlistment option and what it means to you, because you're the one who can get the most out of it. The deal is this. Instead of the usual 3 or 4 years, you can now sign up for just 2 years in today's Army and still have a choice. You can pick the job training you want, or you can even serve in Europe. Now, any middle linebacker worth his lumps can read that option. It says go for 2 in today's Army. Why not talk it over with your Army representative? He's listed in the yellow pages under recruiting, or call this number toll-free.
The first step for the new regime was the draft. With the 3rd pick of all collegians available, the Giants knew exactly what they wanted, and they got it.
The New York Giants, first-round selection, John Hicks. Offensive guard, Ohio State.
I guess it's a dream. I guess I wanted to play in the NFL. I don't know, I think I wanted to play in the NFL. It's the best, and I wanted to play with the best, I guess.
What made you choose the assignment?
At a press conference during the draft, John Hicks told the news media how he felt about being a Giant.
I think they do have real good material, and I think that under Coach Osberger definitely will come out there. You see what he did to Miami. He's a good coach, and I have a lot of respect for him. And the people I've been associated with have a lot of respect for him. I would hope to be a starter, but I hope that I could contribute enough to the team that we win. We have a winning season, and we can propel ourselves into a contender. I played guard in high school and my first year in college. We did a lot of pulling on our power pitch plays, and so I think that I can handle the situation. The pass protection is a little different, but that comes with work.
John Hicks, with his size, talent, and inspirational desire, is from the stuff of which superstars are made. At Ohio State, he was a unanimous All-American and was rated by the pro scouts as the top offensive lineman in the country. Indeed, his driving power and great ability gave the Buckeyes one of football's finest ground attacks. Bill Arnsparger's first priority was to rebuild the Giants' offensive line, and John Hicks is the key to the new forward wall. New York's second draft choice also was designed to shore up the line. Tom Mullen is a highly regarded guard from Southwest Missouri State. Arnsparger's fourth pick in the vital draft was a quarterback, Carl Summerall. Summerall led East Carolina to 2 successive championships, and his pinpoint passing twice earned him the rank of best in the Southern Conference. The Giants' fifth choice was the Ivy League's leading receiver, 6' 3" Don Clune of Pennsylvania. As good as their draft was, the most important newcomer may be Leon McQuay, the Canadian League's leading runner. Appropriately, his nickname is X-Ray. X-Ray McQuay's lightning speed will be a welcome addition for the New York Giants. To go with the influx of new talent, the Arnsparger regime inherits a solid nucleus of veterans to build upon. On offense, the club is blessed with 2 experienced quarterbacks, 13-year veteran Norm Snead and 8-year man Randy Johnson. 2 years ago, Snead won the National Football League passing championship, and he set an all-time team record with 60% completions. Last season, he completed a fine 55% of his passes. Randy Johnson has a strong arm, and last year got the opportunity to use it. He also hit on 55% as the Giants enjoyed the second best passing attack in the entire NFL. A fine trio of receivers helped achieve that distinction. Lanky Don Herman, number 85, parlayed a pair of sure hands into 43 receptions, his best season ever. At the other wide receiver is number 27, Bob Grimm, a gutty, go-for-broke type who hauled in 37 passes, most of them spectacular. But as good as the wide receivers are, the Giants' tight end did even better. Bob Tucker again led the team in catches with 50, and his mastery in blocking at the line, then releasing over the middle to make the catch is unmatched in all of football. But it's what he does with the ball after catching it that distinguishes Tucker from most tight ends in the league. His penchant for breaking the big play and finding the end zone makes Bob Tucker of all-pro caliber and an important man in Coach Arnsparger's planning for the new Giants in '74. The greatest asset Arnsparger inherits is number 30, running back Ron Johnson. Johnson's never-say-die style of play and great natural ability make him one of pro football's premier running backs. With the speed to go outside and the power and heft to run inside, Johnson is a two-time 1,000-yard rusher. Last year, he ran for a total of 902 yards despite missing 2.5 games. Johnson is not only the Giants' leading runner and touchdown producer, but he excels at receiving, and last year pulled in 32 passes to further enhance the New York attack. The line Johnson ran behind was the main target of Coach Arnsparger's list of priorities. Next year, the Giants will depend on 3 veterans to balance the inexperience of their 2 top rookie picks, John Hicks and Tom Mullen. The veterans are number 70, Bob Hyland, and number 63, Doug Van Horn. Both are 7-year men. The third is number 52, John Hill, a young tackle of great promise. Rounding out the offense will be kicker Pete Gogolak, the all-time leading scorer in Giants history. With New York, Bill Arnsparger plans to install the same Super Bowl winning defense that earned him the reputation as a genius in Miami. He feels the Giants have the talent to exploit it. A swift and mobile defensive unit that hits hard and swarms all over their opponents. The Giants are well set at defensive end with Jack Gregory, number 81, and Carter Campbell, number 79. Last season, Campbell found a home as a starter with his rugged defensive play inside and his speed to make the tackle on the outside. Campbell was a big reason why only 3 other clubs in the conference had more sacks than the Giants' total of 35. Jack Gregory was the force on the other end of the line. Last year, he fell off slightly from the previous season when he personally sacked quarterbacks 21 times. But in 6'5" Jack Gregory, the Giants have a bona fide all-pro. In the middle of the defensive line is short, squat John Mendenhall, who had the best year of any Giant player. Besides his obvious strength and power, Mendenhall has the speed and lateral mobility that fits in well with Arnsparger's concept of team defense. Despite the fact he missed nearly half the season due to injury, John Mendenhall received All-Pro mention. Next year, he'll be fully recovered and will team with another injured player, Larry Jacobson, at tackle. Jacobson was lost for almost the entire year with a foot injury. But in 1974, Jacobson, Mendenhall, Campbell, and Gregory will form a front four that should bring many cheers from Giants fans. At linebacker, the Giants have number 58, Jim Files. At 6'4", 240 pounds, he has ideal size for that position. Under Bill Arnsparger, Files should flourish in 74. Henry Reed, number 80, is an intense competitor and a prime candidate for the main man in Arnsparger's famed 53 defense next season. At the outside spot is Pat Hughes, number 56, who was the recipient of some good luck last year. For the second straight year, Hughes was a starter and played the position with aggressive, all-out style. One of the experienced areas of the team is its defensive backfield. Number 41, Willie Williams, made his 9th season at cornerback, one of his best seasons at cornerback. Williams led the Giants in interceptions. He had 5. At the other corner was Pete Athos, number 45. In his second year as a starter in the secondary, Athos also contributed as a punt returner. His speed and fine hand served him well in both capacities for New York. At the strong safety position is second-year man Chuck Christ, number 24. The rugged sophomore was a basketball star at Penn State and utilizes his height and agility to great advantage in the defensive backfield. But the big name in the secondary is still number 43, Spider Lockhart. Lean and mean, Spider spins a web over enemy receivers. His pass coverage is superb. So those are the men who will start on defense in 1974. And because defense wins titles in the NFL, the cornerstone of the new Giants should be solid.
I want you to be the first to know. I joined the Army, so I guess it means goodbye. Chris, I want you to be the first to know. I joined the Army, so I guess this means goodbye.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Susie, I want you to be the first to know. I've joined the Army, so I guess it's goodbye.
Goodbye?
Ginny, I wanted you to be the first to know. I joined the Army, so I guess it's goodbye.
No,
Linda, I want you you to be the first to know I've joined the Army, so I guess this means goodbye.
Oh, Rod.
Ellen, I want you to...
With the Army's delayed entry program, you can enlist now and take up to 6 months to say goodbye.
When did you join?
Actually, last July.
For more information on enlistment options in today's Army, call this number, toll-free.
3 rookies who made the team last season have the potential to contribute to the Giants' new era. Rich Glover, number 77, was college football's most honored lineman 2 years ago, and last season showed the same skill and quickness in going to the ball. The big question about Glover as a lineman is his size, so he too may be considered for the key position in Arnsparger's 53 formation this year. The Giants' top pick in last year's draft was big Brad Van Pelt, number 10. The rookie learned a new position at linebacker, and pass coverage gave him a problem. But Brad Van Pelt is too gifted and committed an athlete not to succeed. The rookie who made his presence felt the most was 14th round choice Brian Kelly, number 55. A hitter on the special teams and linebacker, his versatility should stand him in good stead in '74. So those are the components that Bill Arnsparger and his new staff will weld into a team next season. Their task will not be an easy one, but the talent to succeed is there. Ron Johnson is one of football's finest at running back, and next season's edition of X-Ray McQuay, the explosive scatback from Canada, will help immeasurably. Even more important is the Giants' revamped forward wall, led by John Hicks. It will make the ground game go. With the Giants' veteran players joining the talented new ones, Arnsparger's system should roll into high gear, and the running attack could be one of the best in the entire league. Defensively, John Mendenhall will return. His talent, along with others like Jack Gregory and Jim Files, should flourish under the guidance of Bill Arnsparger. And with the implementation of the well-publicized 53, the New York Giants should return to the defensive mastery that has long been their tradition. The Giants' passing game needs little refinement. With their 2 veteran quarterbacks and fine receivers, the air attack needs only to match last season's success. It ranks second among 26 teams in the entire National Football League. For the Giants and their fans, the football spiraling through the air is a sweet sight indeed. So in 1974, Giant followers will be introduced to a new era in their team's history. But the philosophy and determination of the new regime is best expressed by an old Giant.
I'm not a patient guy. I want to win tomorrow. I don't even want to go to the Super Bowl if I'm not in it. I want to be in it. I hope that the future of the Giants is that the ball players feel the same way. Because I look at television with anger when I see the Super Bowl, knowing that I'm not in it.
That, then, is the goal of Bill Arnsparger and the new staff, to reach the very top where the old Giants often stood. On a sunlit autumn afternoon, the New York Giants began their first season under Bill Arnsparger. The new head coach had brought sweeping changes to the team. The opening day roster included 16 rookies, highest in the NFL. These first-year players, coupled with veterans acquired through trades or waivers, made the total 27 new faces that Arnsparger added from the year before. So against the Redskins, a season of great change and much promise began. Right from the start, the newcomers were much in evidence. Most visible was number 44, rookie Doug Coter, who returned 2 kicks, 79 yards. Another addition who sparkled in the opener was hard-running fullback Joe Dawkins. Dawkins ran behind a line that featured 3 rookies in the middle, Carl Chandler at center, and the 2 top draft picks, John Hicks and Tom Mullen, at guard. Appropriately, in this season of change, it was Doug Coter behind fine blocking by the rookies who scored the first touchdown of the year. Unfortunately for New York, this was the only touchdown they would score against Washington, but it was nearly enough because of a heroic, hard-hitting performance by the Giant defense. Bill Arnsparger's debut was a losing one, 13-10. But in falling by only 3 points, the Giants had shown considerable promise for the long season ahead. While the first week was a showcase for Doug Coter, the second served the same for another rookie runner. Number 25, Leon X-Ray McQuay, displayed his dazzling speed by taking a kickoff 72 yards against New England. Old pro Ron Johnson had 10 pass receptions while scoring 2 touchdowns as the Giants' offense racked up 20 points. But the defense couldn't contain New England's little men as Mac Herron and Randy Vitae tallied 3 times as the improving Patriots beat New York. The next week, under a blazing Texas sun, the Giants rang up their first win of the Arnsparger regime. The attack scored only 14 points, but it was all that was needed as the defense roughed up Roger Staubach all day long. The Cowboy quarterback was sacked 6 times and intercepted thrice. The Giants finally had a victory to celebrate. An impressive 14-6 win over Dallas. In Game 4 against Atlanta, defense again dominated. The New York secondary stole 3 passes for the second straight week. Rookie Doug Coter starred on this Sunday by bursting through a hole and streaking 53 yards to pay dirt. Miller ran for 119 yards on the day, but a third-quarter interception by Ray Brown broke a tie and Atlanta won. In 3 of the 4 games played, the Giant defense had allowed merely a single touchdown. It was the offense that was letting the team down. Against the Eagles the next week, Doug Coder continued his fine running. New York scored first when X-Ray McQuay high-jumped in for a touchdown. But the Giants missed an opportunity to go up by 14 when on a fake field goal near the goal line, rookie quarterback Carl Summerall missed the open man. It was all downhill after that, as offensive failure contributed to a sound beating in Philadelphia. The next week in Washington, the team tried everything to break the losing streak, including a rarely seen quick kick by rookie Steve Crosby. However, the offense could muster only a single field goal by Pete Gogolak, and the losing streak continued. So the team's great promise, which had appeared ready to bloom brightly in the fall, had now withered in winter. New York had lost 5 of his first 6 games. Dallas was the next opponent. Bent on revenge, the Cowboys permitted only 1 touchdown, and the Giants' aggressive defense scored it. Roy Hilton, escorted by half his teammates, romped 71 yards with the football. Though the Giants lost decisively to Dallas, this game marked the end of their offensive futility. For during the week, in a big trade, Craig Morton came to New York, and in the second half of a game already lost, a new era, the Craig Morton era, began for the Giants. New York now had the quarterback it so desperately needed. And from the start, the 10-year veteran showed his experience and rifle arm would make a difference in the team's heretofore meager air attack. Though Morton could not bring his new team from far behind against his old teammates, the first half of the 1975 season ended with renewed promise for the New York Giants. Craig Morton made his first start a winning one as he passed for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. New York took a comfortable 20-7 lead until Old Pro Lenny Dawson entered the game and rallied Kansas City to within 2 points. But with 4 minutes left on a 3rd and short yardage situation, Morton made a brilliant call. A lonely Joe Dawkins loafed in with the winning touchdown, and New York had broken the losing streak with his 2nd win of the season. The next weekend, Craig Morton had another big day, hooking up with Joe Namath in a classic duel between 2 of the best pure passers in football. Morton hit on 21 of 32 and had his team in the lead until late in the final period when Namath surprised everyone in the ballpark, including his own teammates. Namath's bootleg touchdown tied the game and sent it into sudden death overtime. Here the Giants got a big break by winning the coin toss. But it would be the last bit of good fortune the team would receive in a long, long while. The Giants drove to the Jet 25, where Pete Gogolak attempted to put the game away. In a controversial call, the officials ruled Gogolak had missed by inches, and the Giants' opportunity was gone. On the next series, with one flick of his wrist, Joe Namath won the championship of New York. The Jets, not the Giants, were the victors in the first sudden death overtime to be decided under the league's new rules. Thus began for the Giants a string of last-second losses unparalleled in league history. In Detroit, X-Ray McQuay had his best game, running for 98 hard yards. Pete Gogolak redeemed himself by kicking for 4 field goals to give his team a late fourth quarter lead. But with only 7 seconds left, the Lions kicked a field goal to beat the Giants by 1 point. The next Sunday, back home against the Cardinals, Craig Morton had another big day throwing the football. Morton matched Jim Hart pass for pass in a game that seesawed back and forth. When Morton hit Walker Gillette for a score with 1:16 remaining, it appeared the Giants had broken the last-second losing jinx. But St. Louis rallied and with just 3 seconds left, won the game. The last-second lightning continued. On a wet, windy December in Chicago, the team battled the Bears to a 13-13 tie until late in the fourth quarter. But Chicago moved to field goal position with 39 seconds left, and the nightmare appeared ready to repeat itself for Bill Arnsparger's Giants. In one of the most painful periods in the team's history, they had suffered a 4th successive last-second loss. A total of merely 12 points had separated New York from victory in the 4 games. Despite the unprecedented string of close defeats, the Giants' defense remained the team's major strength. Under Arnsparger's philosophy of swarming to the ball, it has a chance to become one of the best in football. And assistants Floyd Peters, Ed Rutledge, Alan Webb, and John Simak are determined it will be. The heart of the defense is tackle John Mendenhall, number 64, whose amazing lateral quickness and pursuit sets him apart. With the speed of a linebacker and the strength of a tackle, Mendenhall continued his all-pro style of play in 1974. At right end is 6'5" Jack Gregory, as strong as he is large. Gregory gives New York a fine rush from the right side, but for the first time in years, the Giants has someone to match him on the other side. 6'6" Roy Hilton came in a trade with Baltimore, and the 10-year veteran of NFL wars lent needed experience to the team's defensive unit. With the huge Hilton at one end and Gregory at the other, Arnsparger is able to employ Mendenhall in the middle of a three-man line, where his strength paved the way for the ends to pinch in from the flanks. The Giants are well set at linebacker, where number 55, Brian Kelly, and Ron Hornsby, number 67, played the middle. Hornsby began the season at the position and performed well, but he gave way to injury, then had a tough time returning because of the heady play and tough tackling of Brian Kelly. Unlike his rookie year, Brad Van Pelt was healthy all season and showed the potential the Giants expected of him at outside linebacker with his good size and fine athletic ability. The experienced man at the position, of course, is Pat Hughes, the Giants' defensive signal caller. Hughes has few peers at coming up fast on a screen or to meet the sweep with a clean, hard tackle. In the secondary, New York depended on two veterans, Spider Lockhart and Pete Athos. The free-wheeling Athos, number 45, made his fourth season his finest as a Giant. In his 10th campaign with the team, Spider Lockhart again stabilized a young secondary with his fine play at free safety. The other safety position was nailed down by rookie Clyde Powers, number 39, a fifth-round draft pick. Next year, joining Athos at cornerback will be aggressive Henry Stuckey, number 48, who played for Arnsparger at Miami. The coach is familiar with Stuckey's talents and traded for him at the end of the season. Yet another candidate for employment in the Giant defensive backfield will be All-American Robert Giblin from the University of Houston. Giblin was the Giants' fourth-round draft choice. The unit that pleased Arnsparger the most the past season was the special teams. No touchdowns were made against them, and they recorded several blocked kicks and recovered fumbles with their excellent coverage. In fact, the special team was so special, Arnsparger rewarded them by introducing the unit individually before the final game. Its members are Mickey Zofko, Bobby Brooks, Rick Dvorak, Honor Jackson, Andy Selfridge, and Rookie of the Year punter Dave Jennings, who ranked fourth in average, kicked four to the coffin corner, and displayed fine acting ability to boot. As New York moves into phase 2 of the Arnsparger regime, upgrading the offense is the first priority. In the past, Ron Johnson was the big man of the backfield, but 1974 was a year of one injury after another for the veteran running back. Luckily for New York, adequate replacements were developed by assistant Ted Plum. One was rookie Leon McQuay, who ranked third in the conference in kickoff returns, averaging over 27 yards. McQuay, with the difficult transition from Canadian football now over, should be even more valuable to the team next season. The biggest surprise for New York was the performance of free agent Doug Coder, who impressed the coaches in preseason with his rough and ready style of running. Coder continued to impress right through the regular schedule with his deceptive speed and knack for finding daylight. His 119 yards running against Atlanta was New York's best single-game performance in 1974. Giant fans can expect even more from the versatile Coder in 1975. The trade that brought Joe Dawkins to New York was one of the finest in years. At 225 pounds, Dawkins is a quintessential fullback, a lethal blocker and superb inside runner. Dawkins led the team in both receiving and running last year. In the beginning, the wide receivers were number 27 Bob Grimm and number 85 Don Herman. But under assistant coach Hunter Ennis, rookie Ray Rhodes, number 82, developed rapidly as the season progressed. And Walker Gillette soon became a regular. At tight end, as usual, was Bob Tucker, who hauled in 41 passes, many of them of the long-range variety. Next year, Tucker may have some competition, because the team drafted 230-pound tight end Jim Obradovich from USC. Obradovich impressed Giant scouts with his ability to make the big plays in the big games. He starred in 2 Rose Bowls for the Trojans. But the biggest catch of all may well be Danny Buggs. The flanker from West Virginia is nicknamed Lightning for good reason. At 6 foot 3 inches with blazing 4.4 speed, Buggs averaged over 20 yards a catch for his career and was rated by the scouting combines as the top college prospect at wide receiver. In 1975, Danny Lightning Buggs will bring a much-needed commodity to the Giants' offense: sprinter speed at wide receiver. No position received more attention from the coaching staff than the offensive line, the foundation of any team's attack. Arnsparger's first 2 draft choices were linemen, and the improvement of this unit was evidenced by the fact that only 4 teams in the entire NFL offered better passing protection for their quarterback. Craig Morton was dropped only 13 times as he found relative safety behind Ray Wateca's strong forward wall. The big story was the Giants' 2 rookie guards. Number 1 draft pick John Hicks, number 74, was on the right. At 6'2", 260 pounds, Hicks excelled at pulling out on sweeps and simply leveling his opponent. The left guard and second pick, number 73, Tom Mullen, was nearly as effective a blocker as Hicks. But the youngster from Ohio State was so special, he was named Rookie of the Year. The first time in the 20-year history of the award, it went to an interior lineman. But in no way was Tom Mullen outshone. With his quickness and size, he too was named to the all-rookie NFL team. With the 2 outstanding rookies at guard, the Giants should be set at that position for many seasons to come. However, the search for talent on the line continues. And in this year's college draft, the Giants feel they found a young bull moose tackle to team with Mullen and Hicks.
To begin the second round, the New York Giants select Al Simpson, tackle, Colorado State.
Simpson's school, Colorado State, led the entire country in passing, and the Rams' outstanding pass-blocking interior line was a major reason for that distinction. At 6'5", 265 pounds, Al Simpson is so strong, his opponents often ended up off their feet. With the background of a pro-style offense which number 72 enjoyed at Colorado State, the Giants staff feels Simpson can step right into a starting position with the pros. He's big, he's good, and the Giants need him. While Simpson was the Giants' number 2 pick, in essence, Craig Morton was their number 1. It was well spent. Morton has all the credentials: the size to shake off tackles and the mobility to roll out of danger and still complete his pass. Perhaps Morton's most important attribute is his coolness under fire, forged in 10 winning seasons in Dallas. Most of all, he has a classic throwing motion, the quick release and the strong arm to uncork the bomb. Yet he knows when to apply the deft, soft touch. Craig Morton is a major reason the Giants' future is much brighter. There are others, of course, as Bill Arnsparger prepares for the second stage of the new regime. The solid defense, revamped offensive line, a promising draft, and the added year's experience for the 16 rookies already on the roster. It should all enhance a rebirth of the Giants' winning tradition as they move to Phase 2 of Reconstruction in 1975.